The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm so excited to be here on this Monday. We've got a big show for you. It's kind of really exciting, to be honest with you. We are coming to you from the Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California. This is the home for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. It's also the home for Autism Live. And man, big show. We got a lot we want to accomplish in this show. I want to tell you that there are lots of ways for you to participate, lots of ways for you to have your questions, your thoughts, your concerns answered. Please note, Traven is showing you a bunch of different things on the screen, and those are a bunch of different ways that you can connect with us so that you can be a part of the show. The whole show is meant to be interactive. And we've got two incredible guests for you today that I'm really excited about. In just a little while, we have an interview that, quite honestly, we pre-taped last week because this young woman's schedule is so crazy that we needed a pre-tape with her, but she's remarkable. Rachel Barcellona. She is the young woman who is vying for the Miss Florida position. So that pageant is coming up towards the end of the month, but we're going to talk with her a little bit about her life and her view on things and her mission in the Miss America pageant. And boy, is she on a good mission. And it's a mission that we all can get behind and support her on. So we're going to air that in just a few minutes. And then towards the end of the show, we are welcoming back the fabulous Christina Adams, who we feature her on the show a lot. She's now, I'm proud to say, a good friend of mine, and what a remarkable woman. You know, she came into my life because on the day that somebody told me about CARD, to be honest with you, that mom handed me a book and said, here's the book you need to read. It's called A Real Boy, and it's written by this woman, Christina Adams, and it's about her son's time at CARD. And man, that thing became my new Bible. I loved that book so hard that I couldn't even give it back to the woman. She said, that's okay, give it to somebody else. And since then, I've given away a lot of copies of A Real Boy because it was a game changer for me. So, and then Christina is a wonderful writer and a speaker, and she's been traveling the world, and her life after that book sort of turned a corner, as it does for many of us. Like, we thought autism wasn't a corner that we turned. Her life took turned another corner, and she became very interested and pivotal in the international camel milk movement. And I know, like, how does that happen? Like, how do you just like, yeah, you know, I was doing one thing, didn't know anything about camels, and then suddenly it becomes a large portion of my life. Well, you know, we've talked to Christina many times about her camel stories, and they're amazing. And we've always said, you know, where's the book about that? You know, why? So she has a book that's coming out in October, and we're not going to show it to you yet. We're going to show it to you later. But today on this show, we're going to reveal the cover for the first time of this book, but later when we're here with Christina. So it's a big deal because nobody else has seen this nowhere. I'm excited to see it, and we'll have Christina with us as well. So all of that is happening. I want to remind you of a couple of things, though. First of all, that everything's meant to be interactive, so go ahead and write in. And second of all, you know, we have these wonderful people on the show, wonderful experts at things, but please remember always that I'm not an expert. I'm a very proud autism mom, thrilled to be here with you, and I have so much to pay forward. So I want to help you to get to the progress that you want to get to, whether you are a parent, teacher, practitioner, you're an individual who's on the autism spectrum, or you're somebody who cares and loves someone who's on the autism spectrum. You know, to me, you're all part of this big, beautiful community together, and I want to help you to get to the progress that we're all in need of and deserving of. So having said that, we like to start Monday mornings with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We try to figure out what are the experts talking about. We give you the actual definition, which I do enjoy making fun of it. I have to be honest, because there's so much to be made fun of. And then we give you a working definition that's a little less specific, but a little more user-friendly, that hopefully can help you to entree into understanding this, whatever it is that we're talking about, and not hurt your head. Because I don't need my head hurt by jargon, do you? So today's term, Traven's got it there for us, it's random rotation. Now this is one of those terms that when you hear this, when you're just coming into the autism community and somebody starts talking about random rotation, I thought they were talking about a hip displacement the first time I heard this, right? A random rotation. Is that when your arm turns the wrong way and it pops out of the socket? What are we talking about here? Has nothing to do with that, turns out. Okay, so Traven, let's go ahead and show them the actual definition. Random rotation. A procedure used during discrimination training in which the target is interspersed randomly with other targets. Often the other targets have been previously mastered. Okay, this is great if you knew what discrimination training was, and if you knew what interspersing a target randomly was, and if you knew what a mastered target was, then you would be fine. Right? But most of us don't know that on day one coming in. So it's then becomes, what are we talking about? And they're not even phrases that you can really look up, right? Because you can't look up previously mastered target, right? And get a definition, because that doesn't exist. So let's put it together for you. Let's go on to our working definition of random rotation. It means randomly switching between the behavior you're teaching, the current target, and other behavior responses that the child or the individual already knows. Okay, so when we're trying to teach something in ABA, and there's something that's called DTT, discrimination training. And what we do is we start out with errorless learning. So if I want you to learn that this is the yellow Post-it note, this is never something that I would teach, right? But I don't have a car here with me. So if I wanted to teach you, let's say I'm teaching yellow. I could be teaching square. I could be teaching Post-it note, right? But let's say that I'm teaching yellow. And so I would take this, and my desk isn't, where can I put it so that you see it? Nope, doesn't work there. I got to put it further back. Okay, so I put it on the desk, and I say to the child, touch yellow. Now, the child doesn't understand what touch is in the beginning, so then I'm going to use a prompt and very gently go, touch yellow, and I go, yay, yellow, right? And then, you know, I would move, you know, my hands around, do whatever, and then I would put yellow back down, and I would say to the child, touch yellow, and it always, you know, you see the videos, and it looks so ridiculous, touch yellow. But they talk in a certain way because we're trying to heighten the moment and go, something's happening here, because the child's like, I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? It's weird, right? I've never done this before, but touch yellow. And now in the beginning, they don't know what yellow is, even though I'm saying touch yellow and they're touching yellow. They don't know what yellow is, right? So there's a bunch of different things that we're going to do over a period, but this is called errorless learning. There's nothing else there to touch. And I'm giving you the answer, and then I'm giving you a reward, right? Errorless learning. But at a certain point, we're going to mass trial this. So after I've errorlessly learned this, I'm going to put things out with the yellow that I have not already taught. This is the important thing. So I put the Kleenex box, and I'm going to put my phone here, because maybe you'll be able to see my phone. And now I put, and by the way, none of the other things can be yellow. There's blue and orange on this, but there's no yellow. Because if I say touch yellow and there's yellow on the Kleenex box, now it's not going to be clear, right? So I would say touch yellow, and now I'm teaching the child to discriminate between the three things. So you're touching yellow. And then I'm going to move them around because I never want them in the same place. And now I'm saying touch yellow. And I help the child until they can do it themselves. And I give a reward for it, right? So the child doesn't know that that's yellow, but they know it, when I touch this, she goes nuts and I get what I want. That's fine for this stage of the learning, right? And I keep moving them around. And, touch yellow. And by the way, eventually I will get a different yellow. I will get a yellow in a different shape. Let's see, I've got oh, good, look, see, I've got these yellow. This is a slightly different yellow, and it's a different shape. So now I would throw this in here, right? Because different stimuli, but I'm still teaching yellow. So right now I'm mass trialing it. All I'm working on is the yellow. So I teach yellow until the point where every time I say touch yellow, the child, no matter which yellow thing I put up here, the child's like, I know this is associated when she says that word that I don't know what it means, but it's yellow, right? And we go, oh, okay, now at least 8 times out of 10 when I say touch yellow, the child touches yellow. And yay, always the reinforcer, right? Now I'm gonna say that, and by the way, they gotta touch it 8 out of 10 times across 2 sessions with at least 2 different people, right? Because we wanna make sure it's not just when I say yellow, right? But then I'm gonna say that yellow is mastered. Does that mean that they know yellow backward and forward? No, but we've got it at least that far. So now the next step is that I go and maybe I teach pink. And I go through the same exact process and I teach pink. And I say touch pink. And the child doesn't know what I'm talking about, right? And it looks ridiculous, right? But we teach touch pink, right? And then, eventually we put it in a field of 3, right? And I'm mass trialing touch pink. And notice yellow's not here. Touch pink, right? Touch pink. And by the way, they're doing it that fast. And then they're rewarding. I'm leaving out the rewarding part. Okay. Now, once I master pink, now I've got 2 of them. So now we want to put pink and yellow up together. And since I only know 2, we're going to have an unknown, which is, and by the way, this can't be yellow or pink, right? And I put them up there and I go, touch pink. And the child is like, I don't, and I'm going to, so here, I prompt, touch pink, yay! And I move them around really quickly. And I go, touch yellow. And they go to touch pink, and we, we don't reprimand them, but we lead their hand over and go, touch yellow. Oh, okay, so eventually the child gets it. Oh, when you say pink, I touch this one. And when you say yellow, I touch this one. Now, it seems stupid. I got to be honest with you. The first time I saw people doing this, I was like, it's like playing the shuffle game. Where's the queen? What? It works. It works, it works, it works, it works, it works. And not only, it's just the first phase of teaching this, but it helps them, what you're teaching them to do, this is why they call it discrimination training, is you're teaching them to discriminate between pink and yellow, but you can't do that if you teach them at the same time. So first you got to teach yellow, then you got to teach pink, and then you teach blue, and then you teach car, and then you know what I mean? Like you teach, there's a certain amount of attrition that you get to, and it's just like when they were teaching Helen Keller. I talk about this all the time. It's like until you get to the point where there's a moment when the children get it and they go, oh, when you're saying that word, they understand the concept of labels. So this is iPad, and this is tissue, and this is pen, and they start to absorb quickly. And then we move into other kinds of teaching, and we lengthen it out a little bit more, and it isn't just, by the way, it isn't just touching. Sometimes you're having them match. So, you put 2 yellow things out and you say, match yellow, and then they have to put them together, right? And then you do match pink and, lessons, but it works. And it becomes a basis for teaching all things. If something is hard, we go back to isolating it out, discriminating it, but this is like step 1, 2, and 3 of maybe a 300-step thing where you get to conversation. And I know people look at it and they go, that's not going to work. I certainly did. I was like, what have we gotten ourselves into? Touch yellow. I want him to go to college. Well, let me just tell you, my son turned 16 last week and he's getting ready for college. It works, folks. So that is random rotation. It means that you've got 2 different mastered things at a time, or 3 or 4 or whatever, and now you're not working on the same thing over and over again. It's the next step in the teaching method, starting with errorless learning, then you go to mass trial, and then you go to random rotation. All right, does that make a certain amount of sense? It works, just saying. Okay, in any case, we got to move on. I said it was going to be quick, Traven, and then I wasn't. So question of the, no, let's start with the question of the day. Whew, I'm already tired. That was exhausting. Okay, question of the day. What are you sure of? Okay, so remember when there was Siskel and Ebert, and Gene Siskel, this was the question he always used when he interviewed people. He would say, what are you sure of? And he said this to Oprah at one point, and then, of course, Gene Siskel is no longer with us, and that's a very sad thing, but I love that Oprah sort of picked up on this and started asking people, what are you sure of? And so I'm going to ask you, what are you sure of? But here is like, I'm just like, whew, I want to cry, because the one thing that I'm sure of in my life is that ABA works when we give our children the right opportunity, and when we do it in a quality way. I know for sure that it works because I watched it work in my home. And everything that I have, so sorry, but I am in such a good space where that every day I wake up and something happens that I thought could never happen. Every single day, you guys. And I think, oh my gosh, I don't think that I understood while we were doing it that we could get here, but I know for sure that you can, because we did. Now, am I saying that every child can? Please know that I know that that is not the case, right? But I also know that every child can make progress. Every child can make progress. That progress is at hand, and it's got to be good quality ABA, and it's got to be frequent enough. You can't just do it once. It's got to happen hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, over and over and over. And the lessons build on each other. And if you don't have time, then they won't. I was saying the other day, we had Ifunanya Nowicki on the show on Friday, and I am not good at saying her name. I keep tripping over it. And then we had Jordan Kamnitzer on, and he says her name, Ifunanya. And I had said to Ifunanya, you know, I'm not around you enough. I need to say your name like 3,000 more times, and then it will roll trippingly off of my tongue. Well, you know, that is true for all of us. If we get the opportunity to do a skill more, then more opportunities with feedback about how to do it is the key to good teaching. That is the basis of all good teaching. And I know for sure that ABA works if we give our kids that chance and that opportunity. And it's why I'm working myself to the bone, y'all, to try to make that happen for more people. Because I owe all of you that. Because I got the best. And I won't be able to sleep at night if I can't help you to get what you need. So there we are. Emotional. So I said on the show today, we are having Rachel Barcellona, and we are having the fabulous Christina Adams. So stick with us. We are going to come back with Rachel Barcellona. She's oh, I didn't do the topic. Hello. If I didn't have Traven, I would be lost. Okay, so we forgot the topic of the week. What is the topic of the week for this week? I don't even remember. It's got to be something good. What's next? Oh, that is good. Travis says, in my case, it was the topic of the week. Yeah, that, you know, the thing about ABA, here's the rub, and here's the quality problem with ABA, is that when you begin to see that, oh, we can teach someone to discriminate between this and this, and oh, we can teach someone to be potty trained, and oh, we can do this, that the next question is, so what's next? And that every day is an opportunity to grow and stretch for all of us. I want to say that don't forget in what's next, the joy. I was so deeply affected the other day that I watched a program that that I guess it was the last episode of it on Fox TV, and I don't even know the name of it, but it's about the last year in people's lives. You know, but they had a couple that was on, and they had a mini documentary about them, and the dad had been diagnosed with colon cancer and been told that he had about a year to live, and so they were doing this documentary with his wife and his kids, and the thing that was so overwhelming to me about it was the amount of joy that the wife said, oh, we just decided early on. She said, you know, we had our kids, and she said, it's funny. Other people tended to feel the pressure of that and the constraints of that. And she said, we just never did. We just had more fun and more fun and more fun. And when I think about the 5 years that we were doing intensive ABA, it's funny to me because I know it brought me to my knees. It was super hard. And I never, ever, ever want to act like with you guys that it isn't super hard. It brought me to my knees. And yet, when I look back on it, that isn't what I really remember. What I remember are the successes and the joyful moments and the times that we were able to share our success. And I think about how much I'm worried about right now. And it occurred to me the other day that, you know, you really don't have to do that. That's a choice that you make, is to worry. I know it's hard to choose something else, right? But instead of focusing on all the things you're worried about, what about saying, okay, well, what's next? What do we want to do next? And is there joy in that? Is it just a treadmill to nowhere? Because a lot of times we're all trying to arrive someplace, and that's not it. Like, we really need to get that the journey is the thing, that we're all on this journey and every day is the thing. So if you think that, I had a friend who, like, all he wanted was a particular car. I think it was a Ferrari, I don't know, but I don't even remember because it's that not pivotal, but there was a car that he wanted. I'm thinking red Ferrari, and he worked for like 20 years until he could get the red Ferrari. And then he sat there in the garage and he was like, okay, it's a car. It's a car. And you know, we have things in our life. Ask what's next, but don't leave the joy out of it. All right, I'm going to be over time. We're going now to the interview with Rachel Barcellona, and then we will be back. Stick with us. Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm very excited right now because we have joining us via Skype an amazing young woman. She's an incredible role model for all of our young ladies who are on the autism spectrum. Her name is Rachel Barcellona, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her story. But Rachel, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored to be on the show today.
Well, I'm really excited to have you here. We see behind you a little banner, which kind of gives it away. Tell people a little bit about what you have been doing lately and what you have going on right now.
I've been doing a lot lately, but for now, I'm Miss Manatee River, and that's just a precursor to the Miss America competition. So if you win this, you get to go to Miss Florida. And that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm just so excited. My head is spinning out of control because I've been rehearsing and practicing. And coming up really soon, the competition is on June 27th, and hopefully I get to go to Miss America one day. I'm excited.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. So on June 22nd, that's when it's Miss Florida that you go to next?
27th is the actual competition, but the whole thing is from June 24th to the 29th.
Okay, but it's Miss Florida. That's the next step.
Yes, Miss Florida, correct.
Okay, so, but already you're Miss Manatee River and you have responsibilities in doing that, and you had to win a pageant in order to get to that point, correct?
Yes, it's all like a stairway. There's many steps, and I had to win pageants before that, and I had to try several times because it's just like acting. There's a lot of rejection, and nobody's just going to hand things to you. And I'm pretty good at dealing with that. But I love it. I just love trying harder and harder and proving myself, you know?
And part of being in pageants, correct me if I'm wrong, because I was not a pageant girl. I know that shocks everyone. But you have to have a platform, right? A cause that you support and something that you feel passionately about. Isn't that the truth now?
Yes, definitely. Especially because Miss America is changing and it's required that you have to have a platform. And mine is the autism and disability awareness and acceptance. It's so important to me because I live my platform every day. And there's so many other girls who have platforms, such as cancer research, for example. But I think it's important to actually live your platform because it makes you want to get out there and do things.
So, and I love this phrase that you're living your platform. Tell our viewers at home a little bit about you. How old are you now, first of all, Rachel?
I'm 22 years old.
Okay.
And when I'm not doing pageants, I love to sing opera and write stories. And that's another thing. I love writing books, and I want to get my first novel published someday.
Very cool. And how is it that you are living your platform?
Well, I'm living my platform because I have autism myself, and I've just been doing my platform, The Ability Beyond Disability, for over a decade now. And my mission is to show people who don't have autism the challenges we face and to bring acceptance into my community.
I love your mission, and I love how you are living your mission, Rachel. How did you get involved in pageants? What was it about pageants that you said, hey, I'm going to do that?
Well, they were originally done as a means to help bring me out of my shell, to build up social skills and all of that. And I started them as young as 5 years old, and I continued up until the 4th grade. But then in middle school, I did them again because I was having anxiety issues. But once I got on that stage and in those dresses, I knew that's where I was meant to be. And meeting so many girls, those helped my social skills, and I just kept doing them.
I love, because a lot of people would say, boy, if you have trouble with anxiety, don't do public speaking and don't go on stage. But I love that it actually is what's helping you. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing for people to hear. Now, as you get ready for this pageant, there are many different parts of a pageant and many different ways that you compete, right? Tell us about some of the different areas that you have to compete in later on this month.
Well, there are countless sections that we have to compete in. You have gown, fitness, because we got rid of the swimsuit. And I think that's really important because women of all different types deserve to be loved, and they deserve an opportunity to show how awesome they are on stage. So we have fitness, talent, which is my favorite part. Interview is another thing that I love because it helps with social skills, and social impact statement is when you show off your platform and everyone gets to know what you're about.
And this is there's so many things that you're good at. Obviously, you're a wonderful opera singer. I'm assuming that you're singing in the talent. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm singing Climb Every Mountain from The Sound of Music.
Oh, I love that. And then when you talk about your mission, I know you have just been wowing people with this all over the place. You've got YouTube videos showing what an incredible advocate, outspoken advocate you are for the autism community. I know you're going to knock their socks off. What I want to know is if there's anything that we, the general audience, can do to help help you in your cause to get to Miss Florida and then get to Miss America? Is there any way, we don't get to vote if we don't live in Florida, right?
No, you can absolutely vote. The more votes, the better.
Okay, how do we vote then? Where do we go to vote?
You can go on the Miss America website and vote.
Oh.
And I can post the link much later because my head's still spinning around from rehearsing so much because there's so many things to do to get to this point. But you were also talking about dreams and advocacy and how to reach more people. So I would say the next step is to move out to LA.
Well, and we got an opportunity to meet you in LA, so I think you fit in pretty well in LA. I think that you're not long from being an LA girl at some point.
I hope so.
But first, Miss Florida, and then should you win later on this month, when is the Miss America pageant?
Well, nobody wins on their first try, but as for Miss America, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Because, I have to be realistic. Everybody, they try really hard like I did with the previous pageant. And as much as I'd like to win, you have to keep trying. No one's going to just hand it to you. But if you really want to know, it's going to be on NBC. And I just had an interview with them too, so that's awesome.
And, well, we will look forward to all of that. But I love that you're realistic. I love that you're in it to grow and not necessarily to win. But I'm going to think good thoughts for you. But is it true that nobody wins on their first try?
Well, it's happened, but it's very rare.
Got it. Well, I love that you are such a sensible young woman and that you are setting such a good example for all young women, but in particular for our young women on the spectrum, to see you being so comfortable being on stage, and clearly, you are such a good interviewer. This has gone really well.
Really? Thank you.
This has been delightful. So I want to know if you'll come back later on in the summer and tell us how Miss Florida went, how the pageant went.
I will definitely tell you how Miss Florida went, and I have a great feeling about it. And if you are interested in Miss America, NBC will share the date, and there will be links everywhere if you're interested.
We're very interested.
I'll do it.
But we are more interested in Miss America if you're a part of it. I really love what you're doing and the example that you're setting and the awareness that you're bringing to this. I know that there's pictures that I've seen of you with shoes that have the multicolored puzzle pieces on it. You often have fashion that has autism promotion on it, and you always look stunning. Every time I've seen you, you just are a fabulous young woman presenting in a very positive light.
Well, it would be a big deal for me because I'm the first person with autism to be in Miss Florida. So to represent my community while being Miss Florida or Miss America, that would be a big deal.
Well, I think it's a very big deal, and we're going to be rooting for you for Miss Florida.
Thank you.
And have you already got all your outfits picked out, or is that something that you don't pick out until right before the pageant?
Oh, we have the outfits picked out, and I love them.
Okay. And I know you probably have a team of people working with you and rehearsing. How much time do you think you spend on any day rehearsing to get ready for the Miss Florida pageant?
Well, I really like to take my time and just not really spend hours, because that really, if I spend a lot of hours rehearsing, then I'll end up forgetting. And I don't necessarily have a team. My mom is my biggest supporter.
I love that. Well, I think that's a wonderful supporter to have as your mom. But, you know, if you win Miss Florida, or I'm going to think positively, I know that you're like there to do as well as you can, but I'm going to say when you win Miss Florida, we just lost her for a second, but I think we'll get her back. But I'm going to say this, when she gets Miss Florida, she will have a bigger team surrounding her. We've still got your audio, but we've lost your picture, Rachel. But I really want to thank you for taking the time to be with us. We want to wish you the very best of luck, and I hope that you have a really good time in the pageant.
And also the link will post when available to vote for me, just in case you want to vote.
Tell us what website and what all the places that we can find you, social media.
Oh, well, my camera died, so I was going to show my card.
Oh.
But
it's okay. If you tell us what website to go to, we'll go there.
Well, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under my name, just Rachel Barcellona.
Okay. Well,
RBHELBARCELLONA.
And we've got it on the screen right now, too. So we encourage people to go support Rachel in her bid to be Miss Florida. And then when and if she wins, we'll be back here talking about how we're all going to support her for Miss America, because we will. We're all going to get behind this young woman. In any case, it's all right. We've lost her feed on the thing, but that's okay. Skype is not my friend today. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. I know you're going to do so well at this pageant, and we're going to be pulling for you, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank your mom for us, too.
I will.
All right, have fun.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. What a lovely young woman and such an inspiration, and we want to thank her for taking the time, because she is spending a lot of time rehearsing. I know that she is, and we're going to keep on top of this story and let you know what happens, but I encourage you to go and like her Facebook page, follow her. She posts really wonderful things, and she's out there, a young woman really trying to make an impact and let the world know that autism has many, many, many faces. So check that out, and we'll keep you posted on what's happening with the Miss Florida pageant. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back after these messages.
What is autism?
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 I've been asking myself that for a very, very long time.
Let me think about that one.
Trying to
Jeez. Let me think. Oh man, that's a rough one. Yes.
Autism.
Autism is a neurological disorder that affects many of our kids in different ways.
It's a learning disability that affects the cognitive functions of the brain.
A lot of people have the misconception that it's a disability, and it's really not.
I look at it as like a special gift.
When one person thinks differently from another.
It's an opportunity for everyone to learn to understand someone that's a little different than them. Autism is the ability to educate.
They're given so much talent in different areas.
To me, autism means a chance to be with and be around people you really care about. Autism is beautiful.
It's a way of seeing the world differently.
It's always unique, totally intelligent, and sometimes mysterious.
Happiness that comes out of my son's hard work.
It's a movement.
Unpredictable.
That's right.
Awesome. Love. The field I want to work in.
Laughter, fun, joy. Autism is beautiful to me.
I want you to remember these three words. There is hope.
I'm Candace Cameron Bray.
Tom Bergeron.
You're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
You're watching Autism Live.
Do you provide care services to someone with autism? Recently, more and more children are being diagnosed with the condition and getting the support they need as awareness grows. But what happens to these children as they grow up? It's estimated that over 500,000 youth with autism will turn 18 in the next decade, and they'll be faced with a very difficult reality. As children with autism grow up, their services start to disappear or become very difficult to access. Things like medical care, mental health counseling, vocational training, and more. All services that are still desperately needed. The loss of support that youth with autism face as they grow up is so severe that it's referred to in the autism community as falling off a cliff. Adults with autism need the same level of support they had as children to avoid falling off the services cliff. Introducing Skills Living, the web-based software designed specifically to help transitioning youth and adults with autism so they can avoid the cliff and instead fly to success. With Skills Living, help your learner with autism develop the skills they need in all the critical areas of adult life, including self-control, planning, and problem-solving, effective communication, performing life skill tasks for independent living, acquiring and maintaining employment or other meaningful activities, developing and maintaining social skills and relationships, accessing transportation and public services, and being safe. Skills Living includes a comprehensive assessment, a data collection mobile app, behavior intervention plan builder, and automatic progress reporting. It also provides a complete curriculum addressing 16 key areas spanning the entire range of functioning adulthood. Skills Living is easy to use and can be implemented by schools, parents, and autism service providers. Call or click today for your free demo and see how Skills Living can help your learner with autism avoid the cliff and instead reach their fullest potential. Skills Living. Wish, learn, become.
We are so excited because we've been talking about this forever. We have the fabulous Christina Adams, and she is with us via Skype. We've got her picture via Skype. I've got her voice on the phone. Christina, for those of you who don't know, amazing, amazing woman that I'm excited to call friend. And I said earlier, Christina wrote the book that changed our lives. It's called A Real Boy, and if you haven't read it yet, you should. It's a great read. I probably have read it 6 or 7 times. I haven't read it recently, and I should reread it again because it is the book that set us on the path that got us to all the things that we wanted to. And so I owe her forever for that, for telling her story. But as I said earlier, Christina's life took a little bit of a turn, and we've had her on the show several times since then. We have a whole segment where we feature her, Autism and Beyond. And but we've been saying, Christina, you got to write another book, and we knew what the new book needed to be about. I don't want to give it away because today here we're doing the big reveal for the first time. You're going to get to see the cover of, and not yet because we're going to wait, Traven. You're going to get to see the cover of Christina's new book. So Christina, welcome. Always a thrill to have you here.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm really happy to be here today. So,
are those camel legs I see?
You don't have to read my first book again. I'm finally going to give you what you absolutely said I had to do. So
yes.
I live for you, Shannon.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but I appreciate that. I am perpetually forever your biggest fan, but I love that I am so lucky that I get to call you friend now. Now, are those camel legs on the picture behind you?
No.
Are those horses'
they're
legs?
Horses.
Okay.
They're Italian horses.
Okay.
I have a friend who was an Italian artist. He actually did the original sets for Sesame Street.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, in a way, I'm kind of glad because I know so much of your life has been taken over by camel and camel culture. So I'm glad that you have horses on your wall too, and still have room for the other things in your life. But so Christina, tell us a little bit about the book, and then you tell us when you're ready for us to do the big reveal of the new cover.
Okay, so thanks for having me today. I've always loved connecting with Autism Live. I can't say how much I adore not only you, Shannon, but all the people that you bring into the fold. And I also appreciate Dr. Grant-Pichet for everything she's always done. So, yeah, my first book, A Real Boy, definitely covered the whole early intervention theme. And it has biomedical, it has behavioral, it has the emotional, it has the family story, and all those kind of things. So I'm really glad that that was published, and it went into a few editions, and people, believe it or not, are still reading it, which is great. I like that very much. I appreciate that my son's legacy is still having an impact. But as I've said before, after that book came out, I met a guy with a camel, and I had the bright idea that camel milk would help my son. And I chased it down, and I flew it in from far, far away and gave it to him, and he had an incredible overnight response. So ever since then, I did find myself, it was highly unlikely, a girl from Virginia who left a farm after high school, and I find myself now visiting farms and learning all about camels, and I have learned a great deal about them. And, of course, the milk was the main driver for that, but I became really immersed in their incredible culture and the value that their legacy of knowledge brings to all of humanity. And then, of course, the incredible animals themselves. And we all need a break from autism, and a fun animal is really a great break. And I have really enjoyed moving into that direction. And a lot of people write me a lot and ask me all about this information. And so I just determined I have got to get this information out there. I can't keep answering emails one at a time. So I've written the book, and it will be coming out October 29th if all stays according to schedule.
And I can't wait. I love that Christina just gave us, like the elevator pitch of what the book is about. But here's what I know is that over the years, there have been stories that you have told me about the both on camera and off camera about your adventures in Camel Milk Land. And there is some crazy stuff in these stories. I just think it's a fascinating thing. I love that you're doing a book. I hope that you've included those stories in there, because honestly, I can see a film of a mom. The things that you have shared with me, it's just fascinating how your life has taken this different path, and some of the places that you've found yourself in, some of the circumstances that you found yourself in. It's just crazy and crazy good. So are those stories included?
Well, the book is titled Camel Crazy, and because the whole story is so unlikely, and it seems like, wow, really? That's crazy. But honestly, science is all behind it, and I will be weaving some of that in the book. So, yeah, I'm going to have some stories that I have never really probably told anyone in the book.
Awesome.
And there are, the great part is also I'm sharing other people's stories. Many of the camel cultures, they've existed for, thousands of years, but they do their own thing. They're in remote areas. A lot of them, their English is wonderful because they have English, and I really greatly appreciate that. But they don't spend time writing, in English to try to get their story out to the larger world. So I'm going to be honored to present some of these cultures' amazing stories that you just can't even believe.
Well, so maybe it's time. Shall we do the big reveal? Should we? I want to do the John Oliver drum roll.
Let's do one thing first.
Okay.
I want to tell everybody, if you think about writing, which many of us, autism parents do, and anyone can think about writing, doing it is another matter, but it can be done. So I want to show you the big chunk of paper like this. Can you see this paper?
Yes.
A big chunk of paper like that can actually turn into a real book. So it can be done. If you want to do it, give it a try.
Oh, man, that's inspiring. Okay, but so let's take a look. Like I said, my John Oliver drum roll, and it is time here for the first time anywhere. We are going to reveal the cover for Christina's new book. Go ahead, Traven, hit us with it. There it is. I love it. Camel Crazy, A Quest for Miracles in the Mysterious World of Camels. So fabulous. I can't read what it says at the top, but because my eyesight is not good enough and it's too far away from me. But it's beautiful. I love, I'm a fan of camels. I've shared this with you before, that I think that camels are some of the cutest and coolest animals on the planet. And they spit, which I don't know why that's very intriguing to me. Since a child, I thought that they were the coolest animals. So do you like the cover?
I do. do like the cover. I love what my publisher is doing with it. They totally got the whole concept. They embrace it, they celebrate it, and they were like, wow, this is amazing. And my publisher also values some of the knowledge from these people that have not been able to get things out. And so one of their missions is to preserve this kind of legacy. And so we're really in sync. And I love the cover. And that camel is beautiful, more beautiful in person than he is on the cover. Actually, it might be a she. I think I know her name, but I don't want to say in case I get it wrong. But but I describe that camel and some other camels in the book. And just so our autism friends know why they should be interested in it, is because autism is what drove me into this unlikely detour, and autism is what's bringing the cultures into the chance to survive and get their products out there and get their cultures out there, get their livelihood saved, because now thousands and thousands of children and families across the world are using camel milk for autism and other issues. And it's also a great food.
And I love that there is this symbiotic thing, because this was a culture, people who raised camels, that was not finding a market, and it's an ancient culture, and I'm sure that you're going to tell us in the book about all the different ways that camel milk has been used over centuries, and yet camel milk had sort of fallen off the radar, and these people, as you have given us to understand, were struggling economically. So how thrilling that as the autism community embraces camel milk, that it's also helping an entire economy to stay alive and well. And I want to call it a dying art, but it's no longer dying anymore. And I don't know that it's an art, but you know what I mean. This society, this way of life is now being revived. What a wonderful aspect to this story, Christina. And you've been there to see it firsthand on many of your travels.
Yes, I will. The book is going to contain quite a bit of not only my investigations here in the United States, but also from different countries. So come along with me if you ever wanted to visit the Middle East, if you want to visit India, if you want to hear what they're doing in other countries about just their legacy and the knowledge that these cultures bring. So it's a little bit about more, it's, ostensibly it's about camels and camel milk, yes it is, but it's really about the people, about life, about culture, about the miracles that we all need just sometimes to make it day to day.
Which is fabulous, and I'm going to love that part of it. But as you say, Christina, that there's some good science that is behind it. Are you detailing the science of it as well in the book?
I'm sorry, what, Shannon?
So there's some really good science behind all of it too, and are you I would imagine that you're talking about some of the research and the science behind the camel milk and why you and other people are finding it that it's been useful for your kids. Do you including the science?
Yes, I do. I don't overkill it on the science, but I put just enough in so people, not only from our community, the autism community, can understand it, but also outside readers who are going to be skeptical, some of them. I'm definitely going to put enough in there for them to be satisfied or get the research that they want to go in a new direction. And I will say, in 2013, I published a medical journal article, which is peer-reviewed, and since then, I'm just so pleased that it's been cited maybe 11 times by other researchers or more. So it's not only did what it needs to do, it's also helping other researchers build their science. And then I even spoke a couple of years ago at a neurological conference, and that researcher, there was a brilliant researcher, a woman from Pakistan there, who had never heard of it, took the idea, ran with it, and is doing some amazing things in Pakistan. And I just gave a presentation remotely to a wonderful conference over there to a group of scientists and autism people. So again, it's bringing together the community with our wonderful children and families.
It's remarkable. So the book is going to come out in October, if all stays on schedule, the end of October. Is there a place where we can pre-order yet?
Amazingly, it's already available for pre-order, so yes, there is. Amazon has it in America, Amazon.in in India, you can have it, and Barnes & Noble in America has it. I saw it on Australia somewhere, And, of course, if people want to know how to get it, they can follow me on Twitter at Camel Milk Info. They can come check out my website, ChristinaAdamsAuthor.com. They can also go on my Facebook page, Christina Adams Author. There's like a lot of ways to reach me, so I will definitely help them out with that.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So for people who are like, okay, I want to know more about this now, I want the book in October, but I want to know more now. So all of those websites that you just mentioned, they can go to be able to connect with you and see some of the things that you are talking about. You're also just an amazing person. You know, I'll be honest, if your schedule permitted it, I would have you on the show so much more, Christina, because there's always, it seems like every 2 weeks you'll send me something and it's like, oh, that's something that I would really enjoy talking with you about. You're someone in the community who, I can think of 3 or 4 things that you've sent me that we'd love to talk more with you about. But today we wanted to talk about the book, but if you find once you get everything edited that you have more time, we'd love to have you on more often.
I would love to, and I do have a few more interesting thoughts I've explored lately. I just returned from Croatia, where I chased down something interesting, so we can talk about that.
Oh, man. And, now I'm curious.
There's always a world to explore here, you know.
Yes, well, and also, I mean, one of the things that I think about, you sent me an article. Of course, there was another one of those horrible stories of a parent who had reached the end of their tether and did the unthinkable. And, you know, you always have your finger on the pulse, Christina, and you posted about it and had a group of people who were very much moving towards finding resources for parents and a way that if you can really not handle being with your child, to safely surrender your child to people who can, so that you don't have to harm yourself or your child to get the attention of people who can potentially help. And I just, you know, at some point we have to do a whole show about that, Christina.
I would love to. And you know, the message really to parents is it can get really bad. We know this. We know how bad your situation can be. But things can always change. Things can always change, and they can get better, and you will have more chances to recover yourself and your kids. So
yeah, no kidding.
That's what we need to know.
But I do want to encourage people, you know, to go to Christina's website and follow along, because she follows a wide variety of things, and she's just an amazing person in our community she keeps her finger on the pulse. So if you keep your finger on her pulse, you'll get to know a lot of things, because you're remarkable, Christina. Well, we thank you so much. I know this was a quick call to talk about the book, but we thank you so much for being willing to take the time. And I know you got to go back to editing.
I do. It's several hours a day and night, and keeps me awake at night. But everything's going really well. So with any luck, you know, we'll get it in final form, and then I'd love to come back and share it with you at that point in time.
Absolutely.
In October.
We will always make time for you.
Super. And one thing I want to add is quickly, I'm delighted now that I'm actually hearing from young autistic adults who are writing to me and asking about their health and camel milk and things like that. So I'm just so happy that they are taking care of themselves, and I'm delighted to connect with them.
What a wonderful thing. Well, that's very exciting. Thank you so much for being with us, Christina, and give love to everybody in your family.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. That's the incredible and fabulous Christina Adams. And please check out her book, A Real Boy, and you can pre-order Camel Crazy. I love the cover. I keep saying that I'm going to go with Christina to go meet camels and see camels. It's something I have to do. It's on my bucket list. So we will do that. But that's all the time that we have for today. Make sure that you tune back in all this week, because we've got great shows for you. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.